everybody out there, and welcome to a new episode of Titan Talks. Thank you all for tuning in. The Titan Talk series is an effort to bring wisdom from notable Gaston City High School alumni to all of you. I'm Raven DeRamus Byers, class of 2012.
And I'm Alethea Russell, class of 2011. We're here with Catina Bett Thompson. Catina, can you introduce yourself for us really quickly?
I can. Hey, everybody. I'm Catina, known as T, now Mrs. Thompson. How are you guys doing?
Doing well.
That's good. Class of 07, the first class. Hey.
Well, T, do you want me to call you T through the interview, or do you prefer Catina? Okay, so T, one, we're really glad to have you here, especially being one of the first graduating members of Gaston City. So to kind of loosen the vibe and get us started, we're going to do a little icebreaker. Okay. So we're going to do a rapid fire icebreaker. So I'm going to ask you a series of questions, really give you some prompts. And you have 30 seconds or less to answer the prompt. So it's going to be really quick, really swift. Don't overthink it. Tell it how it is. And then that's pretty much going to be it. All right. You ready?
I got you.
All right. So we're going to start with your favorite class. What was your favorite class at Gaston City?
A class of 07. No questions.
That was so clever.
That is clever. That is really clever. I would not have expected that spin. Who's your favorite teacher?
My favorite teacher, I don't know. I had a lot of different teachers. I can't really put a favorite on there.
Okay. We'll give you.
It wasn't actually my teacher that I like. So.
Okay. Favorite lunch. I like food. So I can't say a favorite lunch. I like food. This was the opportunity to give those Crispitos their proper homage, okay? Because those are the best, if you ask me. The little Crispito thingies. Okay, what was your favorite place to be on a Friday night?
It probably was a game, if not at home.
Okay. Favorite Gaston City moment?
My favorite Gaston City moment probably was when we made it to the state finals.
Oh, see, This is proof that I truly am a baby, because I literally don't remember. I don't remember that happening. Oh, wow. Okay. So those are great. I'm gonna actually have to go look up this state final situation for real. So our next thing we want to get from you is tell us or paint a picture of a typical day for you at Gaston City. What would a typical day from top of the day to end of the day look like for you?
Well, a lot of people maybe did know or did not know I had a son when I was in high school. So my typical day was pretty much getting up early, the crack of dawn, getting him ready, getting him off to daycare. I had a little brother that attended Gaston City as well, his freshman year, Robert Bett. So it was us getting ready to head to the school once we were at school. You know, the typical school day, after school practice. After practice, I went to work. After work, it was like the regular student-athlete time frame, homework, attending things that I have to do at home and as a mother. So it was a pretty routine thing every day. Yeah, so if I did have time to do extra things, it was nice. But for the most part, I had a pretty routine schedule outside of basketball season.
Okay. Where were you working in high school? I love a good first job. Like, my first job was Wendy's on East Meagan Boulevard.
My first job was, believe it or not, top of the river.
That was my first job.
And my second that I had obtained was I worked at Fred's. Fred's used to be like, I don't know if it's still there. Is it actually still there or not?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I don't know. We got to look into it now.
Yeah, we feel like where Big Lots was, I think.
Okay.
So I worked at Fred's. Yeah.
Yeah. See,
So I did.
shout out to Top of the River. I haven't been to Top of the River in over 10 years now.
Yeah, as well, a long time as well. So I got to definitely get back there when I get a chance to come back home.
Right, for sure. So you talked about your typical day, given that you had a little bit of a unique circumstance with you being a mom. How did Gaston City prepare you for where you are now in that regard? Because I know that would have been, really difficult for some people in general. And so, tell us a little bit about how, if at all, being at Gaston City prepared you for
Yeah.
now.
I actually had a lot of people that were in my corner that was always on top of me when it came to school, when it came to my son. If I needed help in any type of way, I had a lot of people, teachers, principals, family. Well, I call them family. We're not actually related, but a lot of close friends that were family to me that helped me out any way I needed. And one of those special people that I cannot not mention, it actually goes back to, I think, one of the rapid questions you asked me, like, who is my favorite teacher? He wasn't a teacher, but he's my favorite person, and he's actually somebody I call dad to this day. Is Keith Blackwell, Mr. Blackwell. Everybody know that's my daddy. So he was the one that actually stayed on top of me and made sure that I was doing everything that I needed to do to get to where I am today. And when I say he stayed on top of me, like to this day, he thinks that he can tell me what to do. So, so that's, I owe a lot of, I'm gonna get teary-eyed talking about him. There's so much I can say about him. But that's a special person right there. He not only cared for me as a person, as an individual, but he cared about a lot of kids there at Gaston City. And, because of him, a lot of people stayed on the path to want to do something with themselves.
Right. So, that's such a great just story in general. Can CJ add in sound effects, because we got to drop one of DJ Clue's bombs for Mr. Blackwell?
Yeah, we need a cool bomb for that.
We need a cool bomb because everybody loves Mr. Blackwell, and I only had one interaction with him my whole time at Gaston City, and it was when I got in trouble. So I was terrified the first time we met with him for this, because I was like, he gonna remember.
Yeah, everybody usually is very, very intimidated by him. He's probably gonna see this, so I don't care. I'm gonna tell it, but he is not that tough, y'all. He a big teddy bear for real. No, y'all. I can tell y'all. I remember one particular time I was running late for school, and I remember coming around the corner. I was bending the corner real quick to hurry up and make it to school before the bell run. And it's like he always knew when I was going to be late or anything. And he would be standing at the door. Like literally everybody would be in the class. He would be standing at the door, holding the door open, like looking at me with them eyes, them piercing different color eyes. And he'll be standing at his time and he'll be looking at me like, I already know it. And I'll just walk up to him like, you ain't got to say nothing. I don't even care. Like, just let me get to class. And I will have to take that long walk because everybody know he walks like a robot. I'll have to take that walk, like to class, explaining why I'm late. And he was so hard on me, y'all. Like nothing. It could be a legit reason why I'm late. Like the car could literally break down or something. He didn't care. He always had some type of like just way of making it a life lesson for me. And right. I think that's what molded me and helped me for today, because a lot of things that I have encountered throughout my life has been like a life lesson, and it has helped me to keep pushing and just become who I am today, I guess you can say.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, Keith.
He did actually, when we first talked to him about, we talked to him and Mr. Reddick about Titan Talks and everything, and they were super supportive. And so we already had a list of people that we'd want to talk to, and we asked them who were some people.
I better been the first person he said.
100%. And then he was like, He just you said he thinks he can tell you what to do. He was like, she'll do it. So for sure, you were on the list, and you came into you obviously had a really big impact on him as well, because when I was at Gaston City and I had just gotten to know him like over the years, probably the number one person he ever talked about. That was like inspiring and stuff, and was you. And for sure, when he would give me a lot of advice and stuff about when it was like colleges I should pick when it was time to go to college and stuff. And he brought you up a lot in your work ethic and everything. And so I think that even though he was hard on you, I think that he was very impressed with you for sure, because he sings your praises to everybody all the time.
He does.
That's so sweet. It's funny because everybody know him as my dad now. Like they'll say, I talk to your dad, or talk to your daughter, or vice versa, or whatever. But he's definitely he definitely will always hold a special place in my heart for always stepping up. He actually stepped up and became that mentor, that father figure that a lot of us growing up in Gaston didn't have.
Right.
So, yeah.
It does sound like you had an enjoyable time at Gaston City, and you had a lot of support and everything. But if there's anything that you would change about your experience in high school, would you change anything?
That's a good question. I think I would have liked to have attended Gaston City High School for maybe all 4 years. Instead of it just being my senior year, it was just that 1 year, and we tried to make it the most memories that we could that year, being seniors. And I think if I could have had more time, I would have loved to them to have started the school earlier, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Because it definitely was I think it was one of the best decisions they made as far as joining all the schools. Even though I'm not originally from Gaston, let me say that. I'm originally from Anniston, Alabama, but before we moved to Gaston, I lived in Jacksonville, so I attended Jacksonville High School.
Okay.
So when I moved to Gaston, I attended Gaston High School first before Gaston City High School. And one of the biggest things that I do remember and that I did enjoy during high school is when they did combine everybody together. We actually became one big family. It was as if we had already been attending the school for the 4 years.
Right.
And I thought that was pretty cool because it brought a lot of different spectrums, personalities, friendships, that I'm still friends with a lot of people to this day that I would have never met if they would have never did that. So that's one thing I can take from it, that I wish I could have attended more time. Yeah.
And if you could give your senior high school self one piece of advice, what might that be?
Oh, that's a good one. I would say I would have probably enjoy your senior year as far as participating in everything, attending every game, if you could sign up for the SGA or something like that, like do it. I think I bypassed a lot of it, but I supported everyone that did. So I think I would have put myself in more things during my senior year. And maybe I would just say try to have as many senior skip days as you can. Now, that is the highlight too. I got to bring this up. Y'all bringing up memories. We had a senior skip day one day, and this was actually a non-planned senior skip day. It just became like a senior skip day, and everybody met up at the park. The one that's on the drive, like by the hospital. I don't know.
Moraine Park.
Yeah, everybody met up there, and it turned into this big water balloon water fight. Like it was like, I don't know. It was the best day ever. When I say that was like the most fun, I want to say it was people that probably wasn't seniors out there. I'm telling on people right now, but that was like one of the highlights because it was like unplanned. It literally turned into us just meeting up before school And then it just turned into this, we ain't going to school type thing. And then it just went into a whole big water fight. It was fun because it went from that park to another park. I can't even think of the name of it. But it was certain memories that I do remember that I did enjoy our senior year. And it's a lot of things that I don't remember. I know sometimes when I talk to old friends, they'll bring up stuff and I'll be like, what? That happened? But I definitely would have taken out the time to enjoy that year because, you don't get it back. That's it,
Yeah. So you talked about a little bit earlier about how you still have, friends and relationships from high school and all these memories, and sometimes they even jog your memory about other things. So when you think about who you were in high school, so something I often tell like students that I work with today is to not necessarily focus on what you want to do, but focus on who you want to be in the long run. So when you think about who you were, or if someone who knew you well in high school were to describe you in 3 words, what words do you think they would use? And how accurate do you think those words would be for you today?
The first one would be silly. Everybody that know me know that I'm a silly person. I don't even know why people be laughing at me sometimes when I just be speaking facts, But I'm silly. They would probably say silly, nurturing, and competitive. I think those are the 3 words that they'll use. Yeah.
Okay. And how accurate?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead. Finish what you were about to say.
Yeah, we had our first class reunion, and something happened at the class reunion, and I remember trying to help that person, and everybody started laughing at me, and I was trying to figure out like, y'all laughing, we gotta help, and they was like, you are always somewhere trying to help somebody. We should have gave you the help award. I see. So I think I died laughing because when we talk like through social media and stuff like that, that'd be the first thing that people will say on there. They're like, "Oh Lord, y'all know T gonna try to make sure everybody okay," like that. So I take pride in that, by the way. To be a caring person, even if I don't like you, I still care about you. So, but yeah, so that was the only thing.
And do you think those words that you used would be accurate for yourself today? I know you talked about like you take pride in being a caring person, as you should.
Yeah.
But are there other things still applicable to you today?
Yeah, what you see is what you get. I'm still the same old T. Nothing's changed. Yeah, nothing has changed, but just maturity. That's about it. Yeah.
Okay.
So we can take some time to talk a little bit about who you are today and your life today. And so for our listeners, can you just describe the work that you do now, your career, and how you came to choose that career?
Okay. Actually, I'm gonna start where I actually started off doing child protective services for a while.
Okay.
I came back home actually and did child protective services for about 3.5 years, almost close to 4 years. And I decided to move back to Texas, where I currently am, and I continued in that field. I stopped working child protective services when I got pregnant with my daughter. She's 6 months old now.
She's so cute.
She look like her mama. But I decided to open my own in-home daycare. And that's something that I've always wanted to do. Everyone that knows me, they'll hear me talk about, I really just want to open up a daycare. I really just want to open up a daycare. Why a daycare? Is because I love kids. I love kids. I love that age. I love their minds. They're so funny to me. They're funny to me. They might not be funny to everybody else, but they're funny to me. But they're funny in the sense of you learn different personalities so quick, and all of them have different ways of learning, exploring, they just, no matter if they get in trouble, they love you, and I just love that about kids. And that's actually my ministry, because again, I was a single parent once, and I know that daycare was a big part of my life. I needed that to help me do a lot of things, like play basketball, like go to school. So I know that is much needed. And I actually stay here in a military town, Fort Hood, Killeen, Texas. And so it's much needed, even more with our soldiers. So that's what I do. I own and operate a daycare called Little Minds, Big Thoughts. And that's what I do all day. I talk to children, little babies, the little ones and the toddlers all day long. So this is like, if I'm talking too much, y'all got to tell me, because, I don't get a lot of adult interaction all day. So that's what I do. That's exactly what I do.
T, where did you go to school? Oh, sorry, Raven. Where did you go to school to prepare for that?
Okay, so I actually have a bachelor's degree in sociology. I signed out of high school, out of Gaston City High School, with University of Kentucky. Is where I had my scholarship at, and I transferred to Mississippi State University, and that's where I finished. And so my degree was in sociology, which is more of the same field as psychology, social work, all of that, the criminal justice world, all of that. I thought that I wanted to be a federal probation officer. That was like the big thing for a long time. Like, I'm going to be a federal probation officer, And it's so funny, because sometimes you major in something and you end up, your whole life is not nothing that you majored in. You actually find the path that you are meant to go, and it kind of just happened like that. So I majored in sociology, and I attended Mississippi State University.
Okay.
The Mississippi State University.
Okay.
For the college fans,
Yes. That is a good segue into my next question, because you just mentioned how your studies changed, and your original thoughts for your life trajectory changed. I just want to ask if there are any moments, or maybe a single moment in your life that transformed your thinking, or had a really major impact on your life.
I have had several. One in particular that I can share with, I guess a lot of people knew, is that I battled stage 3 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma cancer. And I battled that for about 3.5 years. And that was a turning point. I actually was diagnosed in June of 2016. I had just moved back home to start CPS. And it was a turning point because it made me open my eyes to a lot of things, in a sense of like where I am, how could this be, what I would like for my future to hold, my son, my family, my friends. It gives you a lot of different thoughts. I guess the turning point for me, for sure, was when I had to take all of what I was going through and project it into something positive. And I say that to say a lot of people didn't know that I had cancer before I told them. And everybody always see me smiling. I look healthy. The only difference is I lost my hair. I still have my eyebrows. Now I'm big on my eyebrows. People that know me, I got to keep these eyebrows on fleek, okay? The only thing that I was really worried about, I wasn't even worried about having the illness. It was more about me losing my hair. And the hardest part was losing my hair. I thought that was going to like just be like, they're going to everybody look at me different, like, or perceive me different. And it wasn't even about having cancer the whole time. And I thought that, you see this 6'5" tall female walking around here, and she bald headed. I didn't want nobody to feel or think that I was going through something, like a mental health issue, which is big in our world, and I wanted everybody to perceive it as, though you're going through something, that doesn't mean you have to stop who you are, what you look like, what you're going through, or whatever position that you may be in. And I tried to take every day that I went to chemo, the times that I still work full time. People thought I was crazy for doing that, especially working in the CPS world. That's a whole headache in itself. I would do a week of chemo, be back to work the next week, and I was just alternating that way. I was a single parent at the time, trying to take care of my son. Just the whole stress behind the whole medical world, like the medical bills, the medical terminology, trying to do research to stay healthy. Even at some points thinking like, okay, Lord, if this is what is about to happen, if I leave this earth, worried about who will take care of my child. So I think that was a big significant part of my life that made me enjoy life more. I think basketball was my door opener to seeing the world and being able to get outside of Alabama and know that there's other things out there, and there's so many wonderful people out there to meet. And I think that it helped me to see that there's more to life than just being Catina. It's more to life. You gotta go through this and get through this to help other people. And I guess that takes me back to always wanting to help other people. So I use my platform as a basketball player, as a well-known person going through cancer. I just tried to, like, every time I was around people, I smiled, because that's how y'all know me. I'm always smiling. I'm always like silly acting. And I think it amazed people because it was like, how can she be like this and she's going through that? And the only thing I could think of was just like, I just had something to live for. And it wasn't about Catina. It wasn't about what I was going through, And I think my famous or favorite quote at that time was, it wasn't about me, it's always for somebody else. And I took that as I might have to encounter somebody that can't handle going through cancer one day, or a single parent going through something, or a friend that may need my help to just get through life, where they think their situation is like the worst there is, So I always looked at it. It was never about me. It was always for somebody else. So that would probably be my turning point in life, to where I had to pretty much put my big girl panties on, as they would say, the old people would say, and it helped me to just get through a lot of different things that I went through in life. Like, a lot of people still to this day don't know my full testimony, of who I am or what I've been through. I think a lot of people have different spurts of me, like when I lived in Gaston, or when I lived in Jacksonville, or growing up as a kid, college ball, now in life. I think everybody have different spurts, but if you put all those together and I actually just was to release my whole testimony, I know I would probably have y'all over here like, oh, okay, we gotta stop the interview. But I'm so grateful for those moments, because a lot of people wouldn't have made it through a lot of those moments that I experienced. And it definitely molded me and shaped me into a stronger woman, a stronger mother, a stronger friend, a stronger spouse, just stronger in all areas of my life. And though there was a lot of tragic moments in my life, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I would do it all over again. Yeah.
I appreciate you sharing that, because that is difficult to talk about, for sure. And so many people, like, you're right. I thought that you were very positive that whole time, and so many people wouldn't have known if you didn't say anything. And you just mentioned too that, everybody doesn't know everything about you, but I'm curious if there's anything new that you didn't know about yourself until you left Gaston City. And so, to turn that into a real question for this interview, because I was just talking, since you left Gaston City, is there anything new that you've learned about Catina?
Yes. One thing in particular that I have learned about myself is that it's okay to say no. It's okay to say no. That was I know that sounds so small, but that was like a big thing for me. I was the person that always tried to please and make sure everybody was happy, and I never took the time out to say what made Catina happy. What do I want from something, or and I think that's a big thing for people to understand, that it's okay to say no to friends, family, to coworkers or whoever. You have to take time out for self. It is very important for you to take care of self. Even if it's just a 15-minute moment to sit in your car for a second, like, you just have to learn how to take time out for yourself. So I think just the self-awareness of who I was, and that mental understanding that I needed to take care of me, for once. I think that would be one of the things that I did discover about myself. I was always stopping what I'm doing for other people, and
Right.
I had stuff I had to do, and at that time it didn't matter, to where now it's like, take care of you first, because if you don't take care of you, you can't help nobody else. And
Right.
sometimes strong people break down, we might not show it as to everybody, but we have moments where we break down, and we need somebody to pick us up. And I think I was always picking up everybody and thinking I was helping myself by doing so, but I was actually hurting myself. And so I had to learn how to take more time for self and say no. Yeah.
That's really, I'm happy to hear that. I think that a
Yeah.
lot of, especially women in particular, like we somewhere along the line got conditioned that us saying no is us being mean. So like it
Yeah.
used to be, I used to feel so, I'm the queen of no, but I used to feel so guilty for saying
She said
no. I used to feel so guilty. One time my nephew, and kids will, you work with kids, kids will humble you. My
Yeah.
nephew was 3, and my nephew wanted some ice cream. And he went downstairs and asked my mom for the ice cream instead of me. But we had a rotation. Like, it's my day, my mom was not to be bothered. So he went downstairs and asked my mom if he had some ice cream. And she was like, "Why didn't you ask your Auntie Tasha?" He was like, "Because she don't say nothing but nope and uh-uh." When he said that, I just was like, I was just standing there, and my mom looked at me, and I was like, I mean, I don't even have anything to say back. Like, it might be true. So for a long time, I felt like super guilty, because even he noticed that I was quick. If somebody asked me, no, my sister want to borrow my shirt, no, you didn't take care of the last shirt I let you wear, no. And so
Yeah.
I became the big no in the family. So I'm so glad to see everybody on the no wave. Like, it's really good. It's
It's
joyful for
still
me.
hard now. It's still hard, but I try to take care of self first, for sure.
Yes, that's actually a good. Go ahead,
I'm
T.
not saying in a selfishly way, you know what I mean? Like, I'm
Yeah,
still that loving and nurturing person, but sometimes I just need a break. Sometimes, if that makes sense.
yeah,
So
yes,
yeah.
yes, absolutely. And I think when you think about saying no and taking care of yourself, like, that also one segues into our next question a little bit, but it helps you to be able to live longer and experience things the way that you want to experience them, and to pour into more people and things like that. And so with that being said, perfect scenario, ideal life, I guess, or not even, it doesn't have to be perfect. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Or where would you like to see yourself in 10 years?
I'm actually working on my brand for the daycare. So I definitely would like to see. I want to have an accredited daycare where most of my babies are leaving me and going straight to kindergarten. But I definitely want to try to tap in a lot more with kids with special needs, and like on the spectrum, autism, things of that nature. I want to definitely go. It's funny, I'm going more towards, I guess, the educational side, I guess you could say. But I definitely want to just branch off more. I like the personal space that I have, like having an in-home daycare, but I definitely would like to have different buildings in different areas, and just pretty much directing and just making sure that our babies are getting the correct information that they need to survive. It's a lot of things that I feel that we didn't get growing up, and I definitely want that for them because we're getting older, so we need the right people taking care of us and leading us, and I just see myself cheering for my son and my baby because as y'all don't know, my son is now 17. He is 6'6", 6'7", big boy, like 215. No, he ain't 215. I lied. He is about 270. He's about 270, 275. He is number
he's
5
in sports. Yeah.
He is number 5 in the state of Texas currently as we speak as a defensive end, highly recruited by everybody. So I'm enjoying looking forward to being, I was on that side, so I want to be I'm that sports mom. Yes, I am that person at the game. So I'm just looking forward to just seeing my kids grow, and I'm interested to see where God takes them and lead them. I'm liking the behind the scenes, if that makes sense.
Right.
So even with in-home daycare, like I know I wanted to branch more, but I still like to be behind the scenes. I want to create more jobs for people to work with my babies, and I just like the behind the scenes part, if that makes sense. So I kind of see myself just me and my husband, because I'm married now. Just if we grow our family, we do. If I just like where we're going right now. So in 10 years, I want to be able to sit back and enjoy.
Right.
Yeah. Because I'm older than y'all. I'm getting old. In 10 years, I'm gonna be in my 50s. So.
and for you to have a 17-year-old and then a 6-month-old, is
yes.
It?
Yes. So it's actually everybody's like, whoa, you started over. So for the record, I had my son at 16. I'm at a good age now to have babies, So It seems odd to people because I had him so young, but he is the best big brother ever. Like I was worried about that at first because he's been like my baby forever, It's just always me and B, T and B is what everybody say. And now it's T, B, and Q. My husband's name is Quintet. Everybody call him Q. So then we have Kai, baby girl Kai, and to see him with her, oh my God, y'all, he is such a good big brother. Like sometimes
it seems like it's some of the things that you post and stuff online is just really heartwarming, for lack of a better term, but it is. It's so sweet to see.
And a lot of the stuff I don't get to catch a lot. Because first of all, our family is hilarious. This household is nothing but laughter. We all are like, we need our own TV show for real. I'm telling y'all. Because y'all will be cracking up like, okay, I've never seen this side with T, but when he comes home from practice or school or whatever, the first thing he goes to is his sister. He don't even say, hey mama, how was your day or nothing like that. It's more like where my sister at, and I love it. I definitely, he always wanted more siblings. And now that he has a baby sister, he is so protective over her. And I can tell that even though he'll be out of the house soon, like in college, I know that they'll still be close. I think they'll be real, real close. Like he's almost like a second dad, I guess, to her.
Right? Yeah.
And she just eats it up, Lord. She just eats it up. Yeah.
Can I butt in with one question, Alethea, before you ask another question? I just want to know how it feels for you, Catina, to have been a teen mom in high school yourself, and then for things to come full circle and for your son to be the age that you were, and then to see him so successful and thriving so much. How does that feel for you?
every day, Raven, no lie, like every day when I look at him, I just shake my head because I know he's a reminder of how far I have come in life with raising him. Oh, y'all gonna get me teary eyed.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's the best word I can use right now is a blessing.
Right.
It's definitely a blessing because he is definitely not the kid I was. He is way smarter. He's way more mature. He's he makes good grades. He's not a kid that wants to just be out all the time. He's a bit of a homebody. He's a gamer. He loves sports. And so outside of football, you can catch him on a game. If he's not on the game, he's practicing, training, he's doing something. He he gave me motivation growing up when I had him so young to continue to play ball and to press forward and to do better. But he's actually it's been reversed, if that makes sense. Like I guess I wouldn't say reverse. I guess it's been more because watching him, I'm just like, as a parent, your anxiety goes up sometimes when they're a teenager because I'm like, I've always been a parent. I always said I will shoot it to my children straight. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm not going to let anybody else teach them something that I know I can. And I say that in the sense of he knows about everything. He knows about everything I've experienced as a kid. And I think that has helped him to stay straight, if that makes sense. I know most people think that their kids are the best kids ever, and I'm not trying to make Brennan out to be this perfect kid, but if I could say he's the perfect kid, he's the perfect kid. He's a prodigy. He's the golden one. He's the golden child. But he's so loving and honorable and people, when y'all see him on the pictures, y'all just see, he's a big teddy bear. I guess that's the better way to say it. So I get the soft side and I get the teenage attitude sometimes. Don't get me wrong. You get but he is a mama's boy. And I wouldn't it's been a lesson, I guess, each year because I'm growing with him, and we're like best friends. He grew up with me pretty much. And I'm just looking so forward to, I'm protective. I'm a mama bear now. He'll tell you, like, when he gets, he got a girlfriend, y'all. So I'm very protective, but I try to like, pull back. He talks to his dad about stuff, but he will come to me and ask me questions and stuff like that. So I will give him that because most kids are curious and they'll just go out and test. Where he's more of the kid that will ask questions before he thinks about the consequences behind things before he does something. And if we can just get him to just keep his room clean, we good. We're good. But it's definitely been a challenge, but a joy, if that makes sense.
Right.
Because I'm growing with him, so all the stages that he's going through, I'm learning as well because I was a kid when I had a kid, and that's what makes it even better now with our baby girl that we have is because I'm older, more mature, you're more set in life to be able to handle situations. The only difference is I have a girl. So this is going to be interesting, She is anything like her mama, I'm out to. But it's fun. It's even more fun when you're raising your children with someone that loves them and they want just as much for them as you do, So it's just been a blessing, honestly. Yeah. Go ahead, Raymond. I know you got questions.
That is so beautiful.
Well, Alethea, I didn't want to interrupt. Alethea has another good question, but I had to ask that because that's just very valuable information, and you don't often get to hear from people who've had to deal with those kinds of situations as kids.
Right.
And so I think that's going to be really helpful. And I've taught at Gaston City, and so I've seen people struggle. I mean, it was a struggle for me being an adult married woman with a baby, still just going about everyday life. And I can't imagine being young and like seeing kids who had to deal with that. It's really stressful, and not all the time do people offer them support. And so I think it's for anybody out there listening, no matter what stage in life they're in, it's gonna be super inspiring probably to see the light at the end of the tunnel, to see what can happen on the other side, for sure.
Right.
There's a lot of times I've actually came back to Gaston City a few times and spoke about teen pregnancy to a lot of the girls there. And that was like a lot of, anytime they asked me to it, I was like, yes, I definitely want to do that. Because my goal was to just let those girls know that, everybody always called it, when I was coming up, everybody always called it a mistake. And I had to teach them that it's not a mistake. It's a blessing. You learn from it, but use that as something to continue to keep going forward, not backwards. And I think that a lot of girls don't have that support, like you said. And I was one of those girls. I didn't have a lot of support, but at home, my mom helped, and I had a younger brother, so it was almost like I was a second mom, But the support that I did come from, I had to teach the girls that it's not always family. It could be your peers, your teachers, your coaches, your neighbors. It can come from anywhere. But my biggest thing that I was trying to let them know is don't be so prideful and not accept it. You got to set your pride aside, because most people that are trying to help you have been through it before. They've been through those stages of life, and you can only learn from it. And I just pray that everybody that I did talk to or have ever reached or even came in contact with, that I did help them in some type of way. And I've given my number out so many times to different girls just to call me, because it is stressful. It was hard having a kid in high school, and then you got your social life, and then if you're an athlete, you got that life, and you're trying to put everything all in one basket and figure it out and compartmentalize, and it's hard, but it's doable. I can say that it's extremely hard, but it's doable. And you just can't give up on yourself because you got somebody depending on you,
Right.
Yeah.
And I would add, on the opposite end to your point about finding support even outside of your family. Like when I was at Gaston City, like I knew a lot of people who were teen moms, and like even myself, like as a teenager myself, like I didn't know how to be supportive of them. Even if you're not going to be supportive, like clearly I'm 15, 16, I can't buy diapers, but I can at least, but you can at least I think it gives you a sense of empathy about about that your friends now have to live a different life and have to make different choices than you. But when you're teenagers, I feel like my teenagers are my most self-centered years in general. And so when you're teenagers, I don't think we really have that level of depth and empathy that we could. And I also think the way that we talked about or at least even at school, with the interventions and stuff that they would have in health class or that type of stuff. And to your point about your son asking questions before he goes out and tests, that was not a thing when I was in high school. It was just if we had one friend who had a cool mom, we might ask them, because then they also might go tell my mom. And next thing I know, I'm on punishment. I'm on punishment for 5 months just to ask it. And so that's really, really helpful. And stuff even as an adult now, I wish I would have known how to handle certain situations with my peers a lot better. Just off of that, but it was so taboo that like there was never a conversation about like you can still be friends with this person even though they just had a child. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And that as a teenager is scary, because you
yeah.
don't, it's always the perception of others. Fun fact a lot of people don't know is I started playing varsity basketball when I was in 7th grade in Jacksonville. I was actually one of the first 7th graders to like start playing varsity. And I was like 6'3" in the 7th grade.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's always been Big T, okay? So I when I was got pregnant with my son, my sophomore year, I was already highly recruited, and a lot of coaches backed off of me because they figured, hey, she's pregnant. She's probably not going to continue to play basketball. You don't know where she's going to go right now. We don't want to put our money in her because, that's a distraction or that's a bad image for our team. It was all kind of things being said and written and everything like that could honestly break a kid, mentally. You'll think, like, well, dang, they just do me like that because I'm having a baby, where's the support? And when that happened, when I had my son, I got right back on the court. It actually became the reverse for me. I'm gonna show y'all not gonna stop me from doing something I want to do. This baby is not gonna stop me from being a basketball player, volleyball player, whatever sport I chose to do. And once I had to learn how to make tough decisions early. And I say that to say, because once I started back playing ball and I was getting accepted here to go play in this elite camp or AAU ball here, and coaches were sending letters and trying to talk to my coaches, and I'm like, well, where were y'all at when y'all were some of the ones that were saying that, hey, she's not going to make it, So that was my motivation behind a lot of things when it came down to having my son to stay focused. So the times that I did go back and talk to girls at Gaston City High School about teen pregnancy, I told them use that as a strength, like a strengthening tool, because you're going to have those naysayers. You're going to have those people that doubt you or talk about you or say negative things about you. But it's all about your mindset. You have to strengthen your mind right now. And as a teenager, it's so hard because you have so much peer pressure and you have things coming at you and you don't know how to take it. And Raven, going back to the question with my son, raising him so young, and it's had some challenging times because as teenagers, we think we know it all, but we don't know it all, but we don't know how to handle certain situations. So I can recall sometimes that my son would come home upset. And as a mom, you want to fix it all the time. You just want to tell me what's wrong, so I can fix it. And I had to learn how to kind of give him his space to think about what's happening or understand what's happening and let him kind of talk to me as needed instead of, because sometimes as moms, we can be overbearing, they don't want to tell us stuff because oh, mom going, she just takes stuff overboard, So I had to learn how to, I know, growing up, when I grew up, folks, kids don't need no space. They don't pay no bills, that little whole, but their generation is different. They speak up more. They're more of what we weren't, if I can say that right. It's, I have to learn how to approach different situations without a certain reaction. Sometimes our face give our reaction and they say something that's really angry inside and I'm looking at him like, what? I learn how to fix my face because I want him to continue to tell me stuff, So just back to what you're saying, you learn, you have to, as a teenager, you don't have all the answers. So as a support system, as a peer, when I was growing up, my support from my friends was just me venting to them, I guess everybody always told me, I guess I learned this about myself too. I joke a lot when I'm hurting, and I would always turn everything into a joke, if that makes sense. Like I find some type of humor in it, and it could be damaging, but it actually was helpful because it helped me to not ponder on the negative of whatever that situation was. So yes, I'm the jokester, and yes, I will make something that's so serious into a joke. That's just but I also know how to back up and sympathize and empathize because I've been through so much, so I can sympathize and empathize with anything. So yeah. Y'all making me get deep. I thought we were supposed to be like,
Well, this one is a little lighter, so we can sigh. Our alumni association slogan has been from one home to another, which we hope will encourage other Titans to give back to the community. And so, what does that look like to you when we say from one home to another or giving back? You've already talked about how you reach back to other students who may be dealing with teen pregnancy and things like that. But what does from one home to another feel or look like for you?
I think it's just that, just helping in the sense of wherever I can. I think when people say giving back, everybody always think it's financially giving back, and that doesn't mean financially. Giving back could be just people calling you up about a situation that they're in and they're asking for advice, or whenever you're invited to something, you're participating in just lending a hand whenever you can. That's my way of giving back the best way I can, because I'm far, far away from home. But anytime I'm asked or needed, I try to be there the best way I can to support whatever is going on, whether it's a donation versus a physical appearance, or just with wherever I'm needed. I try to do it. It doesn't always work out that way, and that's okay too, but I just get back in the best way I know how, and that's just by my little nurturing, caring self. I'm the person everybody always call and need advice from. And don't ask me where this advice be coming from, because you would think I'm this old 87-year-old woman or something, just giving, I don't know where it be coming from. But sometimes I be questioning myself, like, dang, Catina, you should have majored in this, So I mess with my friends a lot. I always tell them after we get off the phone, because I try to always end the conversation on a lighter note, especially when people are going through stuff. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to be sending you my invoice for my services, like I'm always like trying to just make situations better for people the best way I know how. And that's actually, I know y'all didn't ask me this question, but that's how I want to be remembered. My legacy is she... hands down, Catina gonna help you the best way she can. She might be all the way in Texas, but she can make some phone calls to help you in this situation. Or I want everybody to say that if I call her, she picked up, and sometimes she just listened. Or I can always remember Catina smiling and just being herself. Like I told y'all, what y'all see is what you get. I'm the same way 10 years ago. I'm gonna be the same way 10 years from now. And I don't ever want to change who I am for anybody. And I want everybody to remember me as that. Like, Catina was a real one, she showed to you straight, but she also always came from a loving side of it. And I want my kids to remember their mom as being that person that if they need mom is there. And even when I'm dead and gone, I'm still going to be there, because y'all can play this back and just laugh.
That was
beautiful.
Gosh, okay. First of all, now we have to ask everybody how they want to be remembered. Because that's an excellent question that we didn't think about. And you ended on such a good last word, but I would be shafting our listeners if I didn't ask you this question. If you could give, this is the last question. If you could give advice, and we don't, give us the invoice for your services after, but if you could give a piece of advice to a recent GCHS graduate, what would you say to them?
That's not fair because different situations. So I'm like the situational person, like I guess depending on their situation, I would just let them know you're not the first, you're not the last. So whatever it is that you are trying to accomplish, don't ever let anybody keep your eye on what you want to do. You know what I mean? So keep your eye on what you want to do, and don't ever let any circumstance get in the way of what you see fit. But follow the direction that is given to you in order to be an impact on someone or something. And I say that because you can talk to somebody in the store for 2 minutes and you could have just saved that person's life just by giving your testimony or just by saying hello to them. So if you're calling, if you want to be a doctor, you can be a doctor as a PhD doctor, you can be a medical doctor, you can be, just whatever doctor you're striving for. Don't allow nobody to tell you that you cannot do, accomplish, become, or whatever. It's always best to succeed in a way to be a success story. Everybody's succeeding in different paths. Your path may not be my path, but at the end of the day, our goal is to become a success story. And my success story might not be that I'm a millionaire and, I got this and got that. It's not about materialistic things. It's about who you are as a person. You can have nothing but your success story because you didn't give up on what you believed in. And that's what I would tell them. Just don't allow anybody to deter your mindset of who you are and what you want to become, because only you can do that. Because I can tell you can't do that. And then you can go somewhere and prove me wrong. You can do this, that, and the third, I don't know. But Raven, it has to be situational for me. I don't know. Somebody might have this way or this, I don't know which way. So it's just situational. But that's the best I can think of in a broader standpoint.
Well, that was excellent. Yes, thank you so much. We are so appreciative. I hope that, I'm sure that all of our listeners out there are going to get a lot from this, but also I hope that from this conversation, y'all really do, take what Catina has said today to heart, that, knowing that you're not alone and knowing that you can reach out to people for support, for sure. If you would like to peek around our website and see all the different ways that notable alumni are contributing and giving back and all the things that they do, and if you would like to network, be sure to check out our website, GCHSalumniassociation.org. And you can also find Catina Bett Thompson now on Facebook, for sure. If you want to see what her son is doing, if you want to see him holding on to her little baby girl, and if you want to keep in touch. And with that, we'll sign off today. Thanks again, Catina, and
thank you guys for
join us again. Yes,
thank
for sure.
you.
This was excellent. And we hope y'all join us again for another Titan Talk.
Will do. Y'all know how to reach me.